Welcome back guys to another GTA video, and as I am in my Ace Ventura Pet Detective get up, I am going to be covering all the locations for the LS Tourist Board Shoot Animal Photography. This is of course the new daily challenge on next gen consoles, and it is activated each day when you receive an email from the LS Tourist Board. It will outline what the requirements are and the 3 animals that you're required to photograph each day. Now, I'm not going to cover each location for every single animal. I will however cover the guaranteed spawn locations. So starting off here with the cows, you can find them in 2 locations. I will not however be covering the deer or the rabbits, because they are just located everywhere and anywhere there is a patch of grass. I don't think you need to be shown where to find them. The pigs can be found at 3 guaranteed locations as shown here. And one other thing to be aware of, some of the animals will only spawn through the day, while others will only spawn at night time. There are however 1 or 2 animals that will spawn both throughout the day and the night. The animals must be alive when photographed. Now I know that sounds strange, but it was raised on the sort of day 1 of these challenges being released, and I did test it on a seagull, and unfortunately you cannot take a photograph of a dead animal. They do all need to be alive. The chickens can be found in 3 locations. I've got 1 up here in Grapeseed, 1 across at the hippie camp, and there is also 1 location in the city where you can find the hens. Now if you do get to any of these locations that I'm showing you and none of the animals are actually there, it's either because they haven't spawned in due to the time of day, or you've arrived there too quickly. Best thing to do is to leave the area, maybe walk away 100 meters or so, and then slowly walk back to the area. That will allow all the animals time to spawn in at that location. And here is the location in the city for those chickens. Now as for the chicken hawk, you can find them flying above any of the chicken locations, but here is a guaranteed location at Sandy Shores Airfield. Whenever you approach the bus, the 2 of them will fly away, and they don't fly away that fast. Here you can see I'm actually getting a nice close-up shot of them on my phone. The coyotes can also be found all over the map, but this one here is another guaranteed location. There will be 4 of them laying down in the ground both throughout the day and at night time. So approaching this location, you can get quite close to them before you do spook them. It is of course best to stealth walk as you get close to any of these animals to photograph them. Moving on to the boar, we have 2 guaranteed spawn locations. 1 here again just outside of the Sandy Shores Airfield, opposite the train tracks. You will find a boar walking up this hillside here. The boars will tend to spawn anytime from dusk till early dawn, and a good way of spotting them, especially at night or any animal, is by using a thermal scope. Here you can quite clearly see that there is a boar there. The second location, believe it or not, is roaming the streets in Grapeseed. It will generally spawn in front of the shops here, looking for food out of one of the bins here. So do be careful when you do approach. I actually spooked this one, so I couldn't land and get a shot with my camera. And then we have the most dangerous one to photograph. I've got a couple of guaranteed locations here, and once again it is on the small hill just outside of Sandy Shores Airfield. And as you can see, if you slowly fly over the top of the hills, you will get a cougar or mountain lion spawning in and taking a rest on top of the hilltop here. The other location is over here by the lighthouse. It will spawn either on the hillside or just very close to the road where I was located, and unfortunately in this one I did spook it, so it did run away. And the final location is on the hillsides just outside of Grapeseed. Again, this one is a bit more difficult to photograph due to the slope on the hillside, but here you see it as a guaranteed spawn location on that ridgeline there. Moving on to the one I probably get asked most about is the cormorant and also the crow, and the best location for these birds is along Lago Zancudo. So So you can get them flying across Sandy Shores Airfield or across the mountain tops at Mount Josiah, but the best location to get a photograph is actually along Lago Zancudo. Here at night you can use your thermoscope to find them. They're a lot easier using your thermoscope, but there is a multitude of cormorants and crows nesting along the grass side here. And again, with these birds, it is very important to use the stealth walk to get as close as you can to get that photograph while they're on the grass. Moving on to the seagulls, again anywhere along the coastline, but a guaranteed location is right here on the south side of the Alamo Sea, and you will find them perched on these wooden stumps just outside of the boathouse. Moving on though to our four-legged friends, both the poodle and the pug can be found at this location here just outside of Vangelico's jewellery store. Now you won't see both at the same time. You will either get the pug spawning in or you'll get the poodle spawning in. There will also be a number of the same animals spawning in, so there will either be 2 or 3 pugs spawning in, or there'll be 2 or 3 poodles spawning in. You will also find one along that footpath there, as well as one sitting beside some people on this footpath here. Now, if indeed you do get the pug spawning in and it is in fact the poodle that you're looking for, all you simply need to do is do a lap or 2 of this block here. So walking down, back up along the front of Vangelico's, you will get a different dog spawning in. Now it might not happen the first time, but it will certainly change. It'll either go between the pug or the poodle. And here you go, after 2 laps of that circuit there that I just did, we got the poodle spawning in, and once again there will be numerous poodles that do spawn in. One outside the shop front here. We've also got one at the far end of the walkway along here, just sitting by itself. So once again, if it is a poodle or a pug you're after and you get the opposite one, just walk away from the area or do a lap of that building. Now as for the cats, go down any alleyway or side street within Los Santos and you're bound to find a cat, but here is my guaranteed spawn location. The one I always go to is just outside of Lester's factory. That should cover all the main animals that have been in the LS photo shoot so far, but I'm going to show you a few of the less known animals, or the ones that haven't been used so far. And at this location here, you will either get a Labrador or a Husky spawning in. The Labrador itself can either be found roaming around the grassy area at this location or sitting outside the pond. However, if you were to walk away and then walk back, at this point here in the same area, you can in fact find a Husky. I did in fact spook it, so unfortunately it did a runner before I could get a nice shot of it with my camera. However, there is another location where you can find a lot of different dogs, but you will definitely find a Husky along this walkway here. There were also pugs and Labradors that spawned in whilst I was here filming the Husky. The West Highland Terrier I found at this location here, and I dare say if you were to walk away it would transform into a different type of dog, but I was lucky enough just to capture the West Highland Terrier while I was down at this location. And another unusual one to be on the lookout for is the Pidgeon. These can actually be found roosting on top of this building throughout the night, and they are best seen through a thermoscope. I don't know if you can actually make them out there with the phone camera. You can see the head bobbing there, but with the thermoscope you can quite clearly see them roosting on top of the building there. So if these ones were to come up for the LS photo shoot, at least we know where to find them. And the final one is of course the good old boy Chop. Now the Rottweiler is an unusual dog in that you can actually find it spawning at night, and that is because it is used as a security dog, guarding various premises throughout Los Santos and Blaine County, but here you will find a guaranteed spawn at this point here. But there you have it guys. If you did enjoy today's video, or indeed did find it useful, do leave a like, and if you are new here, why not consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.